Welcome to this beautiful platform. We are talking to young women who are determined to change their communities. These wonderful young women have started their own initiatives with nothing but aiming to change their communities. Through determination and proper mentorship, we believe that they are going far.
Every woman deserves to be in a peaceful and a secure space.
Women are socialized to have different roles.
Any action that you do, you must be ready to pay the price.
They have commercialized our bodies in every aspect of life.
You're beautiful before even a man tells you that. Hi, welcome back to the Passing the Baton podcast. This is where we speak everything women. So buckle up even as we listen to our amazing panelists who will today be handling matters education. And education is good. Don't fret because now we are talking about books. And because I will do an injustice in introducing them. I know you've had injustice in every other episode, but what other word can I use? Yeah, but I'm just going to give them a chance to introduce themselves. So with us today, we are all wise, yes, but because of age, there's the wise lady, there's the gladiator, there's the feminine spy, and then there's the young girl. Yeah, but we are all young at heart. Do we agree? Yes. So I'll just start from you. Please tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much. My name is Jael Omani Omnyangole. In my place of work, I am called Honorable Jael Omani Omnyangole because I am a member of the County Assembly of Kakamega. I am a community change agent, a social worker, and also an educationist, but an educationist of the elderly in the community. You remember that thing they say, Masoma ya uzeeni. I educate the community on issues of climate change, issues of politics, development of women leaders, and also governance and leadership. Thank you.
Awesome.
My name is Ivona Pila. I'm an African woman. I'm a young girl, a young woman. I do education through giving, I educate adolescent girls on matters, menstrual health, sexual reproductive health, and life skills, through Polycom. And I'm also an advocate on mental health issues, and that has been a very big part of my work because I'm also a psychology student. So it's a way of giving back to the community by providing psychosocial support to the adolescent girls and young women in the community. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes, to the lady in the afro.
Jambo. So my name is Claudia Mora Machuki. I am a Gen Z, first of all. I am a proud Gen Z.
Emphasis.
Yes, I am emphasizing. I am a Girl and Young Women advocate. I represent Girls and Young Women under the She Leads project under Polycom Girls. I am also a high school teacher. Yes, Gen Zs can also be teachers. I am a high school teacher and I am a grassroots feminist. I also champion against female genital mutilation. Yes, I'm a number of things, but I am a proud African girl. Yeah.
Awesome. On to the wise lady of the panel. Please tell us who you are.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Connie Muma, and I would start by saying that I'm many things, but today I'm going to really talk about who I am as an educator. Yeah, I have taught since 1984.
Wow.
In primary schools, in many secondary schools in Kenya, and in many universities, both in Kenya, Europe, the US, and other parts of Africa. Mm-hmm. And I'm also a trainer and a facilitator in issues of peace and security. I sit as a council member in the National Defense University. And because of peace and security and education, I was the first woman award winner of a very prestigious German award in 2021. I've worked with Total as a social affairs manager. I've worked with TGRC as their resident reconciliation, consultant. And first and foremost, I'm a mother and a wife and a woman, for that man who is very proud of being a woman. Thank you.
Wow. Yes, claps. On this episodes, I've been sitting with these wise ladies, and when they say their age, I'm like, wait, you're not 16? I mean, story, yeah. Story for another day, but man, we need your skincare routines and your, yeah, your routines in gym, or if you don't go to the gym, what are you doing? But anyway, we will start with our icebreaker, and the first one would be, what is that one time you failed in school, and how did you stomach it? Mm-hmm.
The one time, I cannot say I failed, but the one time I prayed that I ran away from the university was when I was doing my PhD in Germany. So people were praying to pass. Me, I was praying, God, give me the courage to leave. Because it was so tough. Yeah, and every morning I used to pray because I would wake up, look at the weather, -10, and I have a baby who is 1 month. I'm doing my PhD with very harsh-looking professors. So instead of praying to pass, I used to pray, God, give me the courage to go away. Yeah, that's one time that I really felt I wanted to leave. Thank you.
Did you leave?
No, I did.
You stuck by it?
I stuck by it.
Come on.
Got my PhD on record time.
So good. Yes. Claudia.
That time I failed. I will not say I have failed because I have not failed. I am not a failure.
Come on.
Yes. That one time I also thought of running away from campus was project time. Projects are not easy. Like projects, it's like back to back. Your lecturer is like, where's your project? What have you done? Where's your research? So I feel like that's one time I felt like, should I just leave this school and go and hustle? Because they say, they always ask this question, mbona mnasoma? Watu wenye hawajasoma pia watapata hiyo kazi yenye unasomea. So yeah, that's the one time I felt like demotivated, but yeah, I managed.
Awesome. Yes, I feel that.
I would say a time that I really failed was when I was in high school. So we were candidates and everything, and we had a math paper. So it was our first time doing a paper 4. Was it a paper 3? Yeah, but it was like the hardest paper. So I remember everyone failed, and we really failed badly. People had marks with like 0, 2, 0, 10, like 10%. And you're like, hey, I didn't know I could reach this level. And it was really scary because at that point, you're supposed to be doing your final exams in like 2 terms. So it was really an intervention, but I took it as an encouragement because every time you do something new, it's not a must that you have to succeed immediately. Sometimes failure, the first time you try it, will work as a way to push you forward to even become better at it. So yeah, after that, I passed math during my final exam. So that's something I'm proud of. Yeah.
Awesome. Now to you, I'd wanted to take a different trajectory and maybe I want to ask you, because it's both education, if you're doing coding or if you're doing carpentry, between the two, which one would you choose? Doing coding and carpentry. Remember, all of them are education. And why?
I would go for coding because it's an area I would like to learn. I have zero knowledge of it. And it's also an area because I am into the education of the people that are still in the communities, the grassroots. It's an area that you would want to introduce to them because the world is going digital.
Yeah.
And everything right now, including what we are doing now, is digital.
Yes.
So unless we get that knowledge, it's not easy to just get to understand it. Carpentry is something, we were taught even in primary. You remember that time when we could do art and craft. Carpentry was part of it. And even when we get to YouTube, you get to these online spaces, you can easily get to know carpentry easily. But coding is an area that everyone needs to get an understanding.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful.
I was so hoping that you'd ask me.
Oh, I want you to answer it as well. Go ahead and answer it as well.
For me, it was not the failing. It was actually the disruption in the studies. And that is when I was at Egerton University and I was campaigning for a political seat in campus. And I had the campaigns, and during that time we had the banana and orange, 2006, 2005. So we got into politics really well with the new political parties. And when I say the new political parties, the two new political parties that had come in at that time, the Gen Zs might not know. So we had an alignment, and I had to do the campaigns as a woman, a young woman in campus. And I'm campaigning to be elected by 15,000 students. And I have a family, my siblings, that I'm staying with them outside the campus. And I have to also take up work study. I don't know if we still have work studies. Work study. And I also have to do soil science. And soil science, I wasn't the best student in biology, but I'd been given by the government to take horticulture, so soil science was one of them. So juggling between all these was very tough.
Yeah.
Until I approached Professor Rose Monya. And she just told me, you know what, girl, you need to take a break on some of these things. But now politics was not what I was going to take a break on. Yeah. So I decided to push with it all and still took a break later, but after I had been elected. And I also got good grades.
Beautiful, yes. Beautiful. And now that we've laid the basis, today we are talking about from the icebreaker. I believe our viewers, we understand that we are talking about education. So Dr. Connie, we are having an intergenerational conversation. And again, I'll just go back to what I said as we were beginning. We want to know how it was then. We were not there when you were starting. We want to know how it is right now. And from the Gen Zs, we want to know what does the future of education look like? Yeah, so maybe we can start with you.
Thank you so much. And before I say how it was at that particular time, I would just like to start by saying why education, and especially for the young girls. First of all, it will give you the skills and the knowledge, to really engage in leadership positions and also just to enter into the workforce. And then something that education does for you, you make informed choices. You enter anywhere and you feel comfortable. You're not scared because you have the knowledge to engage with anybody. And another thing that education does for you, once you're an educated woman, you know your rights. You're going to fight for them. You're going to fight for the rights of other people, even your community. So it really is important that you're educated. And then lack of it also, you find that many people who are not educated, you realize that you don't have the social skills, and economically, in most cases, you become poor. That is so important to note, yeah? And then also when you're not educated, here's a situation that even in terms of confidence, you'll find that you're not confident enough to engage in different areas. And I had Madam talking about, violence and things like that. Women who are not educated are very vulnerable to discrimination, to domestic violence, and to saying yes to everything. Because as an educated woman, you should be able to say no. That is very important. So how was it, long time? One thing which is important, there was so much when it comes to these societal, barriers and historical barriers, where women were not supposed to go to school, for sure. And you'd even find a situation where parents used to educate their boys as opposed to their girls, especially if there were financial constraints. And of course, women used to face these things of early marriages, where you find that if you don't go to education, there's a man waiting for you and you are married off. You understand? And the minute you're married off, you can't say no, you can't decide, somebody's taking care of you. And the most interesting thing, even women who are educated, a man could say, but I'm giving you everything. Why should you work? That is how it was actually. Where you find somebody who's gone to university like all of you is a housewife. Not because they want to be a housewife, but because somebody has said this at TV, I'm giving you food, I'm taking care of children. And because they were not taught to say no, they said yes. And they became housewives.
Yeah.
And then something which was very interesting, it was positive, but at the same time interesting, the way Madame again said, people expected all women to be teachers and nurses. So if you married a teacher, it was a privilege to have a wife who is a teacher. That was positive, okay? So many women strove to be teachers. And that's why you found that many children who came from families where their mothers were teachers, automatically they did well. So for me, that was positive, okay? But on the flip side, you find that women did not strive to be other things. Especially now that we are talking about things like the STEM, where we are talking about these sciences, we are talking about technology, we are talking about engineering, we are talking about mathematics. It was a no-go zone for women, where it was really male-dominated, and if you try to do any of those, then you are a problem. Yeah. And it means even all the scholarships that came, they were men. Men were being given scholarships to go and do these things. So it's not because women could not do mathematics, but it's what was put in them. And then there was also this thing that at a certain stage, you must get married. Yeah. So if you are studying, you are in trouble. Because even your own parents will say, why are you not getting married? You are not going to give birth to children. That is as opposed to today. So you find that here is a situation where women as opposed to men, it was set to them, for them. What direction do you take? Which was really, really unfortunate. And in order for you to be like the men, you really had to fight.
Yeah.
And I think my sister will tell you, even in politics, that's exactly what's happening. Where you find that women have to fight harder. Not because they can't make it, but because somebody feels a man should be there instead of the women. So, that's how it used to be. And then also another thing that used to happen, in early stages where you find that many children used to go to day schools, issues of transport. Women were very unsafe.
Yeah.
As they're going to school. Even when they come to class, they were being bullied. So it was very unsafe for them. And now to add salt to injury, this thing of sanitation, women had a problem. And I was really shocked that there are women who used to stop going to school for a whole month because of these issues. And then also another thing happened where when you were growing up, of course, I came from a family of teachers, so I was one of the lucky people. But mothers never used to talk to their children about some of these things. So if they find you're even having issues, you're having a boyfriend, you're sent to your auntie. Instead of your mother sitting and talking to you, this is what you're supposed to do. And it means mentorship at home was lacking. And yet we are saying in order for a girl or a boy to succeed in school, it means the mentorship has to start from home.
Yeah.
We are just supporting teachers. But at this particular time, it was aunties, grandmothers, this and this, and they will just advise you how to be a good wife. Nobody puts in your head how to be a good student.
Yes.
Because even then, they were not educated. You understand? That's how it really used to be. And I will share with you later some of my experiences, growing until I went outside to make sure I became what I wanted to be. And that's even how I wrote my first book when I was in Form 6. You can be when you want to be what you want to be.
Come on.
Thank you.
So good. Yes. Please tell us, how is education right now? And you can always merge it with politics.
Thank you. Right now, we are a little more enlightened. And thanks to good policies, thanks to our pioneers that started the journey of empowering and coming up with strong educational policies. Thanks to the government too, we have come up with a Ministry of Education, and we have scholars there that are developing each and every day good legislations that are assisting us to have universities, to have institutions. Like, right now we have TVET. Even if you don't secure marks that can take you to the university, you can always go to the TVET. We have free primary education. It is not the best, but it gives an opportunity for every family to ensure their children go to school. If your child is not in school, it's not because that there's no availability of schools or teachers. It's because maybe you are not aware that your kids should go to school. Right now, we have got more women going to universities and taking STEM subjects, taking technical subjects, being doctors, being engineers. That was not even something you would dream of. We even have religious setups that would not allow their girls or even men to go for subjects such as the STEMs and the technical one. So at the moment, I would say education has been expanded, education has advanced, education has grown to all parts. We even have organizations that are supporting education in places where the government has not gotten to. And that is a very good initiative, just to ensure that education gets to each and every part of the country. We have administration officers that work in homes to just ensure that kids are in school. So they ask, you just did your Form 4, why are you not at the university? You understand? Yeah. We have got advertisement all over in the radios, in the television, just reminding students to apply on COOPs. You know that?
Yes.
And just reminding them so that you'll not say, I was not aware. And this is even done through our local dialects. We have got leaders, leaders that are going out on social media, leaders that are going out on radios and even magazines to just remind students we have scholarships that we are offering. Yeah. You've seen even banks do that. You've seen even other organizations just saying we have scholarships if you know you have a student somewhere that attained this mark. So you see, this is a whole new era where everybody's coming out to support education. And you know why? Because if you're educated, like Dr. said, you make better decisions. Yeah. If you're educated, you get an opportunity to sit on that table where decisions are made, even for the sake of those who are not educated. Yeah. Can you imagine you have the opportunity to be on a political position, sitting at a lawmaking table, you're to make a decision on behalf of your grandmother and you have zero knowledge. You see how disastrous that is? Yes. And that is how important education is for everyone at this stage. Yes. Because also thanks to women empowerment movement, women have been allowed to get into leadership positions. Women are in boardrooms. I mean, you're not going to step into a boardroom without education.
Absolutely.
You understand? So at the basis of all this is education. Yes. You see how Mama has been here quoting ACT, remembering things they did in Beijing. If she was not educated, would we have the opportunity to know that this was our platform? You get? And that is how important we are taking education at this stage. Yes. If I'm not educated, I will not lead a committee in parliament or in the assemblies. I don't know if you get it? Yes. So you have to have this knowledge on this. Can they just pick on anybody because you got into the assembly to lead the finance docket? No. They can't. Yes. So that is why at this time in life, education has been given a lot of emphasis, a lot of support, and more needs to be done so that now the Gen Zs and the generations that are coming can become super empowered and super powerful at just education.
Beautiful.
And not just one specific area of education, but all round.
Amazing.
And even now, why we think education, why I know I've withdrawn, we think, why I know education is important is when we are going back to the community, women and men and vulnerable people are being encouraged to register. Because if you go for an interview, the first certificate you are asked is
KCSE.
your Form 4.
Yeah.
But we have those who dropped out at class 3, those who dropped out at class 4. But because of this other unconventional empowerment movement, they are able to do the work. But we need what? The certificate. So we have come up with organizations and institutions that are now allowing mature students to go and register for the certification, so that within the next few years, you are able to say, I have presented my certificates. I am able to do this work. I am willing to go back to school. Later, I'll also give you my story.
Yes.
Of empowerment and how education can open doors that you did not know they were possible.
Wonderful. We'll put that on the parking lot. And now I want to go to the Gen Zs. And we want to take a different turn. Okay. Yes, sure. You can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think what she's talking about is very important. And you asked the question, how is it now? Technology. Yeah. As we used to read, with our legs in water throughout, things like that throughout the night.
Yeah.
Right now, because of technology, education the world has been made into a global village. These Gen Zs you are seeing here, they know the whole world. As whatever we were told, the teacher was the script. The teacher was our alpha omega. The teacher was our God. Yes. But then because of technology, you can be talking about Europe and they know it all. So it means even as teachers, we have to be on top of things. You cannot go to a class unprepared. Long time you could find teachers coming to us with yellow notes, what they've used for 30 years. Right now, as a lecturer, as a teacher, you cannot do that because the students are more clever than you.
Yes.
But also, there are also negative impacts to that. Yeah, because, students learn quickly, and sometimes they don't get the right thing. Yeah, so you'll find that the people also who learned before, they really did it.
Yeah.
Right now, because of technology, things like corruption have also gotten in. You find certain students presenting work which is not their work. So you are developing students in university who know nothing, and yet they are going to meet the workforce. That becomes a very big problem. Yeah. So there are challenges. There are very positive things also about technology, but there are also very negative things that have come with it. Those are things we never faced at all, as we just used to read faithfully. Yes.
Beautiful. Hey, are we taking this education for granted? There's so much information, and so I'd want us to take a different turn on this. I want the Gen Zs to debunk for me this statement that has been taking rounds for quite some time. A degree is only important when you don't have it. And my question would be around, I want you to debunk it. My question is around, is it that education is not important right now? Or is the job market saturated? Yes.
That is true. I'll just first of all agree by saying education is really, really important, because I believe you cannot, as she said, you cannot be in decision-making spaces without education, without having your facts right. And how can I stand in front of a crowd or a group of men speaking about girls and young women or speaking about the challenges that we face if I don't have my facts correct? So I believe that, first of all, education is really, really important, leave alone the education we learn in campus. Having the experience and knowledge out here, being empowered, taking that initiative of attending the mentorship sessions. Because I believe there are so many other girls in the marginalized areas who maybe don't know what FGM is. They don't understand what FGM is. They don't understand what GBV is. But them sitting and listening to mentors and empowered women who talk about these challenges that girls and young women face, they're able to get a scope of what FGM is, and they're able to say, make informed choices in matters sexual, reproductive, and health rights. Job force, market force, is a degree important? That question is really hard because a friend of mine usually says lazima ufungue server ndio upate kazi. That is like,
maybe you can go deeper into what a server looks like.
A server is where they say you cannot get a job without giving out a bribe or something. Oma wanasema unajua nani kwa hiyo space, nani uko na mtu uko like, or do you have someone there who can connect to the job? Like, it's at a point where corruption is so high. You'd find in an organization or in a company, there's a director. The assistant director is the daughter to the director. The secretary is the niece to the director. Now it's all like, it's just a family business. Or it's, do I know you? I will come apply for a job. Pila will come apply for a job. But if Pila has a connection with the person that is giving out the jobs, she will get the job. Even if I have the papers, I have the experience, I have what it takes to get that job, I will not be given. Because sijui mtu hapo, like your people are not there. And then it comes to a point where we've reached to a point that for you to get a job, you either have to give transactional sex. Like there's a time, I've seen a story where in school, for you to get grades, you sleep with your lecturer for you to get very good grades. Now I come and ask myself, for you to get that job, what extent will you go to in order for you to get the job? So I'm just wondering, for how long will girls or even people and the youth be opening servers, like be paying bribes? And I'm struggling with that because I was told for me to get a TSC job, I have to pay like 300 and something thousand, which I don't have. Now I'm wondering, anyways. So it's really difficult out for the youth right now. I believe ages back, it was easier for you guys to get a job because they believe in the papers, in the knowledge, in the experience. But right now it's so difficult because as I have said, for you to get a job, you have to bribe somebody. For you to get a job, you have to do something to get that job. Like, what do you have to offer for me to give you that job? Leave alone your education, your knowledge, your experience. What else can you offer apart from that? Now, I know you are the moderator, but I'll ask them this question. How can we, as the Gen Z, be able to maneuver that? This field of you have to pay something for you to be able to get a place in the job market. Because at this point, I believe how has also education changed right now? The girls and young women and the youth, they go with their heart. Because I believe long ago it was like, mzazi Kenya amesema utafanya ndio utafanya. If you want to be a doctor, if your mom wants you to be a doctor, that's what you'd study. But right now it's about passion. What am I passionate about? What can I... Nile vile walisema, Madam Jem was talking about youth saying, mi siwezi enda kazi the whole day and it's something I can do for 3 hours. So it's all about analyzing yourself and understanding what am I passionate about? What can I... Nikiamka asubuhi, I am happy going to that work. I'm not going just because I want the money. I'm not going just because nitalipwa by the end of the day, but my mental health is not right. Nashinda niko na stress. I'm asking myself, are these people really going, my boss has a problem with me, my colleagues have a problem with me, but I'm just going to that work just because I have rent to pay, I have bills to pay, and it's at a point also trying to put myself in a space where I'm going to work because I love what I'm doing. Yeah, it pays me, yes, but I love what I'm doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes, Apila.
Wow. The words of wisdom. I think just to add to what she said, because she's exhausted most of it, the direction education is taking right now, I feel like it's a good direction, because if you look at the change of systems from the 844 to now the CBC, the fact that it's concentrating more on the abilities and the crafts, the hands-on, and you're being given the opportunity to focus on what you're good at and to mold you into that talent, into that, into that craft, which you'll be able to later on put it into a professional field of your choice. So I feel like that's already molding a child at a young age to master this craft and to master this skill. By the time they're a professional, it makes it easier for them to even get into the job market. And then the other question of if a degree is important, these days I feel like, hey, it's even more than a degree. Man, out here, from my own experience, when it comes to, let's say, finding opportunities or even volunteering, I had an experience when I was trying to find an internship for my attachment for psychology. So I went to schools, I went to hospitals, but it's the education level that determines where you get. They'll tell you, oh, we have a counselor, oh, we have a peer counselor, or we need someone with a master's, we need someone with a degree of this, of how long, I don't know, with some work experience of this long. So I remember I sat with some of them and I sat with one of the secretaries and I was like, okay, if this work or my attachment is going to be like experience for me, right? But your qualities and whatever the specialization you need requires me to have a degree, and on top of that I have to have a number of years experience. So why don't you guys be the one to take the initiative to give me that experience, because I'm doing it for free, you're not even paying me. So I feel like also our generation, in a way, we get that experience, and in a way it also hurts us, because you're giving out something for free, you're giving your work, your hard-earned labor for free, but you're not getting anything in return. At the end of it all, you go for a job, they'll tell you you're not experienced enough, your education level is too low, you need to add another degree or get a master's on top of that. So these days, even a degree is not enough. So you're like, hey, how many years of studies do I need to master in order to like really be good at this?
And you're just 18.
Exactly. And even when you start even earning a salary, it's not what you'll have expected. And you're like, wow. So by the time you realize some of the young people are more skilled actually than the generation, like the older people that are in those positions. So you're like, even the way we approach things now, because times are changing, they are so different. So our approaches are creatively molded to handle those specific, for example, teaching, for example, if counseling, there are new interventions each and every single year and each and every day. So I feel like with time, just having a degree to be able to get a job, at some point it's not even worth it, because it's like you've wasted years of studying just to get it, but at the same time you need it and you need much more. So it's like, I feel like it's 50-50, depending on how you handle that craft and use it to mold your way into the workspace. You just need enough exposure and enough mental support. And you need to be strong. All in all, you need to be strong to be able to navigate and get yourself into that position that you want. Yeah.
Beautiful. Do we see why these intergenerational conversations are needed?
Yes.
Because now your time, ulikuwa na degree, wewe ni mheshimiwa. Now there's a degree, but you're not equipped enough. You're just 22 and you're being told 5 years of experience. You're like, now who are these people who are going to do this work? So I just want us to go back to you guys answering Claudia's question, which was how does this generation navigate through the limitations? Niko na hii, but then munataka hii. Briefly, kindly.
Yeah, thank you very much. I will start by answering the question, is a degree important? Absolutely, it is. Because first of all, you are not just studying for Kenya. You want to be a woman who is international. And wherever you go out of Africa, whether you go to Europe, US, wherever, that degree will be required. And even right now, when you want to go out of the country even to study, you must have a degree. And then also I usually tell my students, better a student with a degree in the streets than one who doesn't have. Because when we were growing up, Form 4 was okay. Some time back, it was when people want to be politicians, they have to have a first degree. Very soon, they'll want a master's. So why don't you just prepare yourself ready for this? And I will take from what she said, education is not just academic. So it means that when you are learning, what am I learning? Yeah. You see, academics must be there. That's a must. You can't run away from it. That's my perspective. Yeah, because even these things we're saying, like corruption, you see right now we have a lot of corruption. You even find that girls are being forced into sex, even by lecturers and things like that. But it means you have to learn so much that you're able to say no to that lecturer, towards those advances. And they will respect you. Nowadays we've lived enough to say that the many no's we said have made people respect us. And then also when you have the right education, I'm telling you, it reaches a certain time that jobs come for you. And I will give you an example. When I was called to work with the military at the International Peace Support Training Center, I was seconded by the United Nations. I knew nothing about peace and security. And I said I must learn and relearn. And I was the only civilian who could walk with a paper writing all those initials because I want to learn. There are many people who dropped off. I can't work here. I can't do this. I said I must learn. Okay? Working with the military for 13 years. One day I'm sitting and my assistant tells me, Dr. Muma, there's somebody who called. And I'm saying, who? Then they are telling me they want you to be a council member at the National Defense University. And I'm wondering what? So it means, what am I trying to say? Prepare yourself to the extent that people will look for you. I'm sorry to mention the name of Jane. When I wanted to learn French, I was not talking to anyone. When I meet you, bonjour, comment ça va? Even if you don't understand, I practice on you. And I even practiced on her. And that is how I speak 5 languages comfortably.
Wow.
Meaning everywhere I go, I learn. I learn and I relearn. And it means, if, for example, psychology can't give you a job, the language will give you a job. If the language can't give you a job, it means this thing of peace and security will give you a job. Yeah. If that one can't give you a job, reconciliation will give you a job. And I was called from France that I'm going to be a social affairs manager. And when I sat with the country director, I asked him, why me? He said, because you have what it takes. You have a PhD, you're a woman, you've dealt with peace and security, you've worked with TGRC, you are a lecturer. That is just the woman we are looking for. And I didn't look for it. Why am I saying that? Develop yourself when those jobs are not there. Yeah. And now they will start looking for you. You don't even have to look for the job. Meaning diversify. Long time we used to professionalize. Meaning if you are a literature student, you are just literature in everything. Right now, that literature should be a springboard. Yeah. Be in peace and security, be this, that when they are looking for this, you are there. When they are looking for this, you are there. You will never lack, I can tell you. And be on top of things. Meaning that you really have to look at these people who are trying to harass you in the face and you say, no. If you want to harass me, this is not the only university, I'll look for another one. And they're also scared. That is how you also stand for the right of others. And me as a university lecturer, I've seen so many things. You find when you people are in high school, you are protected, you are the head girls, you are taken good care of. When you reach the university, there are people who join departments because their friends joined. And you are wondering, what is this? There are students who are in 4th year. They were supposed to do a subject in 1st year. They were not even aware. Nobody mentored them. So when you are growing, you also have to take opportunity of all these mentorships so that you are given the direction, you see? And I will tell you free. Many students, when they go to 1st year, they play because they don't know. So, they just say things like, so long as I get the pass mark, that is okay. But I usually tell my students, please, how do you call somebody who has graduated with 1 degree? How do you call yourself? If you don't have a master's, for example. No. How do you call yourself? What are you told when you're being given the degree? Now, I give you the power to read. Many students take the power and run away with it. And they never come back to the university. So you'd rather be a first-class student who has run away with the power, and when the need arises, you come back and read.
Yes.
But there are people who ran away with a pass, so they can never see the face of the university. So they are looking for a job with a pass. And here they have people who are first class looking for the same job. So it means mentorship is so key.
Yeah.
So key. How do you start? Where am I going? And where do I want to end? You can stay out of the university for 20 years, but I can tell you, she will tell you. If long-time politicians were needed with the Form 4, right now you cannot be a politician with Form 4. You understand? So be ready. And very soon, even those committees she's talking about, they will look for masters.
Yeah.
There are politicians who don't have a master's. So when you have a master's, you'll get it. Another person will not get it. So a degree is important. A master's is important. If you want to do a PhD, it's important. It gives you the name. Now mess with the name. You understand? So now when it comes to some of the challenges you are facing, here is a situation where, because I usually tell the youth, it's not just about education in class. It's also about our values. Are you the kind of person that when your friends start drinking, you drink with them? When they start taking drugs, you take drugs with them? When they start putting very funny hairstyles, you put with them? Why am I bringing this? As you people come in as Gen Zs, you also have to look at what is your context. Like, for example, when you go to the Netherlands, anything goes. I'm telling you, anything goes. People even take cocaine in the streets. Women drink, women smoke. Is it something which is acceptable in Kenya? So you might find a situation where you go for an interview and you are smoking. Then you say, my smoking, my right. But in Kenya, it's still not acceptable. You understand?
Yeah.
So it means we usually also tell people, look at your context. There are countries where all these things go and you can do them. But there are countries where somebody just decides, I don't want to take that person with the rastas. There's nothing wrong with the rastas, but people are still very conservative. People are still very conservative. So how do you marry the real society, which is very judgmental, and the person you want to be? A youth who can marry those two, you'll be successful throughout.
Yeah.
Completely. Because if it means you want me to teach in a primary school and you don't want my rastas, I cut them.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong. I just cut them because I want to teach. If, for example, you don't want me to smoke in this room, I leave my cigarette outside.
Yeah.
But now some Gen Zs will come and say, my cigarette, my dress, my right. Isn't it? Are you understanding?
Yeah.
So when you look at it from that way, education is not just about class. It's about how you relate. There are even people who are so rude to their parents. But you see, like us, which we were being told that respect for authority is so important. Your teachers, your parents, your everything.
Yeah.
You know, the Kenyan society wants respect. You understand? So you look at it and you say, what are certain things I can do? What are certain things I cannot do?
Yeah.
So that you are looking at education wholesome. Then you'll find when you want to be a politician, you've learned the skills, you go there. If you want to come to the lecturer, you have to be like a lecturer. If you want to be a lawyer, you have to dress like a lawyer.
Yes.
If you want to work in the corporate society, you cannot go to a corporate society with, for example, a shirt flying like this. Are you understanding? Music industry, you can. Art, you can. So you really have to learn, where do I want to go? Then I leave everything behind and I focus on that.
Yes.
That's why lawyers, when they start training them, from the time they enter class, they have to walk in a particular way, they have to dress in a particular way until you get what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you educate yourself much enough, it will reach a time that you are able to say no very comfortably. Because you know what it takes. When you say no here, you will get a door open
yes, on the
somewhere.
other side.
But
Wow.
if you just go with one thing, when you
Yeah.
say no, you're locked.
We don't need you.
You don't need to.
Yeah, I
Makes
think.
sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what I'm getting from what you're saying, man, we even need notebooks at this point. What I'm getting is read the room,
Yeah.
be booked up, and because read the room, be booked up, because there's no lost knowledge.
Yeah.
So you might be on the streets right now selling smokies, but there's no lost knowledge.
No.
The power to read has been given to
Yes.
you. Beautiful. And because this podcast can go over and over, and we don't want our listeners to sleep, we will just go back to you, Mweshimiwa. Tell us, you wanted to tell us your background matters education. Just go ahead and tell us that briefly, kindly. Yeah.
I'll start by saying I'd given you a little brief
Yeah.
on my Egerton experience. I got the position. But at that time, I was raising my siblings. We were orphaned a bit early. And I say orphaned is the mother who was an empowered woman and was able to take care of us. And my father was alive to date. But that responsibility came straight to me because I am the firstborn, my mother's firstborn. And she believed in education so much. She was an agriculturalist. And I think maybe that's why I landed up at Egerton. But my siblings were young. And the one thing I believed in is that if we get this education, it's an equalizer. Some doors will open. So I had to drop out at some point, went back to the village, came to Gikomba. I still have my Gikomba spot where I was selling potatoes, beans, name them.
Yeah.
But I carried along my siblings.
Ladder.
And I took them to day schools. Others, I had to take them to boarding schools. I started negotiating with the politicians. Just write me a letter to take to the principal so this child can be in school. There were not 2 siblings. There were actually 6 siblings.
With you 7.
And my own daughter, because I got married a bit early at 19, but still got divorced at 20 and moved out because I needed to go to school. Then I went to Nairobi here. We were in Kibera. We were in Mathare. We have lived it. But the one thing I would say, if you're educated, one day a door will open. It will. Then I went to Mombasa. Still, while here, I've already deferred in Egerton. I'm not able to go back because I don't have school fees. And I also have school fees for these siblings of mine. And I'm pushing this education. And because I had passed, I thought, let me go and register for law. Parklands University. I was taken. Went for 1 year. I could not. Because where is the source of my income? My omena, Gikomba. My fish, my beans in Gikomba, and Modhurwa, the hawking that I'm doing. But along the way, I met women that have gone to school. I met women that were in the market, but they were doing their masters.
Wow.
I can tell you one such woman. She was a primary school teacher selling at Gikomba. In fact, we met when I was looking for fish in Busia. Her name is Pauline Nangila, but she was doing her masters at Kenyatta University. And then I'm like, so I can do this. And then, of course, I again did not succeed at the Kenya School of Law, at the Parklands. So I dropped out. And I can never forget one statement that Professor Sarah Kinyanjui told me. She said, you see this degree, you need it more than you know yourself. Because I told her, now what do I do? Then she said, you still need it. You have to look at a way to thank God for organizations that support education. In high school, I just didn't get there. But I was taken back to school when I dropped out from Butere Girls, was taken back to a day school by an organization called Chess. And that is how I managed to clear and got a B+. Fast forward, I go to Mombasa. I am serving in hotels, the tea girl, and cleaning. And that is where diversification is important. I could do the cleaning. I could still wash. I could still go to the computers and do a little thing. So one time, one boss that works with the UN just saw me doing this work. I did a lot of volunteer. Don't be afraid as a young person to volunteer. You never know who is watching. And don't be afraid to be just courageous and do the right thing. Then he's just asked me, do you have any training? I told them I have small training here and there, which I cannot put into a certificate, but I can do computer work. And that is how I got into the UN. As a casual laborer. And while there, I learned to be a warehouse assistant, learned administration, learned HR, and then I took myself back to school. During this time, all my siblings now have gone through school. I've been assisted by organization, I've been assisted by politician. I have also learned how to mobilize. I've been assisted by almost everyone. And now I got into the UN. A few years into the UN, again, I just woke up one day and said, this is not enough. I went back to the village. Just rendered my resignation slowly and went back to the village. Why? Because I needed to take this back to the community. And also I needed a platform where I can now complete my studies. So I went into community mobilization, working with women, doing all this at the village level, extreme lowest, got to their level. And when I got into politics, gave my best at politics at ODM. And again, there's always somebody that will identify you.
Yeah.
While there, I was identified by our CS Weekly for Paranya. He really valued the work we did, and he nominated me to the assembly. The moment I just got into the assembly, I told him, you know what, I'll make you proud. I took myself back to school. So I'm graduating this year with a degree in public policy and administration.
Nice.
Yes.
Amazing.
And the reason why I need to graduate and immediately graduate, go for my master's, do my PhD. But along the way, I've been picking certificate in gender, certificate in this, certificate in county management, a little certification along the way, and training. I am now a trainer of trainers in program design and facilitation.
Wonderful. Yes.
You understand?
Wonderful.
What if you don't make it to the ballot? This education needs to help you negotiate for another position so that you are not out.
Yes.
And God forbid that you are not educated. It means you are a politician, you had this big title, you don't have the papers, and therefore nobody can help you.
Yes.
Because already being a politician in itself is not something you can bring on the table when you want to get employed. So it's I would just encourage the young people of this generation, pick something, remain focused. Oh, you need your focus, my dear. You need your focus because you'll be distracted. You see this thing you're saying, open the server. It is worse in the political spaces. It is actually worse at the boardroom spaces. But if you have your purpose, you have your knowledge, you have your focus, and you're determined to make it, you will definitely make it.
Amazing. And I love that you've spoken about giving back, and I understand that Claudia is giving back to her school, not necessarily. Okay, she'll tell us, Claudia, in 30 seconds, and I'm timing you. Tell us how is it? Yeah.
Just before Claudia say that, the best part of all this is that all those siblings of mine, they are all educated and employed.
Congratulations. So good. Yes, Claudia.
What's your question?
You're giving back to the school you went to. Why? Okay. How is it? Let me just say, how is it in 30 seconds?
Okay. All right. So I should begin with, that's where I went for my attachment. I studied a Bachelor's of Education in Arts, that's Maths and Business. So I went there for my attachment because I knew it was easier. It's people I've known, they're my teachers, yeah. So after attachment, they called me back in January. I graduated last year, November. So they called me in January and said, are you available? Can you come and teach? We don't have a teacher in business. Can you come and teach? So I said, why not? So I went back to Mbagathi High School. Well, working with your teachers sometimes can be quite difficult because there are people who have caned you while you are still in school. Now they are your colleagues. So I definitely respect them because they have been my teachers. They're my colleagues, yes, but they were my teachers. So there's that respect that comes to, there's some things I cannot talk to them about because they were my teachers. And also how it has been, I feel like it has been smooth because it's a place I've been used to. The cook who was cooking for me is the cook that is there right now. So it has been a really easy transition into teaching because I've always asked myself, do I really want to teach? Because I have really been thinking about it. Do I really want to teach? But then when I go to that class, my students, from 2 students, they tell me I am a joker. So I always wonder, they say I'm a joker, but in a good way, because we have teachers who are very serious teachers. There are teachers, when you see them, you run away. So I feel like with being in Mbagathi, I have also learned that I can teach, I can do something else. Yeah. I don't really have to just put myself that if I teach. Yes, I remember the doctor was talking about, we always say teaching doesn't have money, but there's always that satisfaction that comes from your students I told my students, I'm going to change, I'm going to go to another class. And they're like, no, do not go. You're the best teacher we have. I'm like, yes, I know I am the best teacher you have. That makes me feel like I am impacting something in them. Not only am I teaching them business and math, I also believe, I also take time. When the lesson is almost over, I talk to them about life. Because the way you said, it cannot only be academics. Mentorship is really key. I also talk to them about gender-based violence. I know, I tell them, I know you are in relationships. Even if you deny, I know you are in them. But please, if that relationship is toxic, walk out.
Walk out.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
If you can't tell them when they are at a younger age, they will never know. Because I believe my teachers, the people who are my teachers, they're the older generation. They're scared of talking to the girls. They're scared of telling them, there's sex, there's rape, there's this, there's that. But I gave it that opportunity of doing what I like, that is mentoring girls and young women, and also impacting them with knowledge in the school. And that I'm really, really excited to what is going to happen this year and the years to come.
Yeah. Beautiful. So now, on to our parting shots. 30 seconds, please. And also, as you tell us your parting shot, I want to know, is it true you guys used to work with lions when you're going to school? You used to go up the mountains and, sisi tunaambiwanga sisi ni waserelak. It's easy. Nowadays, we have school buses. Of course, like they're just, the way the parents, unajua sisi ile wakati kwa tunasoma. Tulikuwa like, as you give your parting shot, just to break the, you want to start?
Of course, people used to walk.
Yeah.
That's for sure, because of day schools. Many pupils started at day school. Then there are others who went to boarding schools. So the walking stopped. But now the most interesting thing about this walking, we never realized. And if you look at that old generation, that's why most of them are young. People die when they're very old because they kept fit. During that time. The cars never used to be there. We never realized that the cars never used to be there.
Yeah.
We used to walk for 1 hour going to church. We used to walk for another half an hour going to school, back and forth. But because it never occurred to us that it was something bad, we walked nicely, eating sugarcane on the way.
Yeah.
So it was not a problem. And if you don't realize there's a problem or anything to compare with, then it just becomes part of life. So we were really okay with it. And I think we had that opportunity, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yes.
So the lions were a lie.
The lions were a lie.
Okay, maybe you can tell us.
And the best part of that walking is that you'd go home for lunch and there's no lunch. And you'll get into any other home and there's lunch and then you walk together back to school.
Awesome.
But my parting shot is this: do not give up. Diversify. Get an education, and if you get an opportunity to give back to your community, do so. And more so in holding someone's hand to get an education or a community or a home.
Beautiful. Yes, Apila. Maybe you, as she sorts the mic, maybe you can tell us your parting shots briefly.
Yeah, so my parting shot is that for the youth, we really appreciate you. But one thing which is important, reach out. Because there are so many problems, especially in Kenya, so that when you don't reach out, you remain a footnote. But you really have to reach out so that when people are discussing your issues, they understand that there are certain issues which need to be discussed. Because many a times people forget about the youth, but just reach out, speak up about your issues. And one thing which is important, I know the country sometimes has become toxic in different ways, but my parting shot, there are still good people who care about you, who won't hurt you, who really want you to be something. And I think that Jane is one of them. And that's why we are here.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
So believe they are good people. Just have the courage. And I know usually people forget about prayers. When it becomes so tough, go on your knees and walk in faith.
Beautiful.
Because you can never go wrong.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yes, Avila.
I think to end it.
Sorry.
To finish up, my parting shot would be us as young people and Gen Zs, we need to be open-minded and willing to receive mentorship as well from professionals who are more experienced compared to us. And I feel like this will also help us in having that courage to complete our education level, because when you talk to someone who has a PhD, someone who has a master, someone who has gotten that degree, it gives you a different type of feeling, it gives you a different type of encouragement. So I feel like being open-minded as a young person to not only listen but also accept that yes, times are different, but I still need this education. Yeah.
So my parting shot would be education is power. Just keep on educating yourself in whichever space that you're in. They always say there's no wrong question. So if you do not understand something, ask the question. Keep asking, and asking. Don't ever get tired of getting that information, because I believe that information is power. And the way she said, education is an equalizer. So just keep on getting that knowledge.
Well. There you have it, our viewers. And I will finish with the amazing words that have stuck with me from Dr. Connie. Education will give you the power to say no confidently, because you know there's definitely a yes that you'll get somewhere. And for women where there's double discrimination, soma, you'll get that yes in a good way. Yes. Bye.